Good morning from sacred space at Titania's realm. It's Tuesday the 19th of August. I've forgotten what the bloody time is. 9:49 a.m. Morning's gone flying by. I've been awake since 7:24, which is remarkably early. But what can I say? I've been in here with my birdie boys. Kermie's gone into little Beau's cage, that's all right. They can hang out together as long as he doesn't try to kill him. They get along like peas and potatoes. It'll all be just fine. So yeah, I'm going to have to keep a bit of an eye out because, you know, things can change. Anyway, it's a very cold morning and misty, and it's probably going to rain. It's murky looking. It's not raining yet though, but it's grey, murky grey day. So Mama T's wearing bright pink and she's colouring up her life as best as she can. And I've been sitting here trying to, bond with my birdies and talk to them and trying to get them to tame down a bit, and not very successfully, I might add. But, eek. And I thought, I was sitting here and I thought, I'm cold, I should put the heater on, shouldn't I? I thought, well, what can I do? Lots of things I could be doing. I've got lots of work to do in the garden actually, but I just haven't had the lung capacity since I got sick, 3.5 weeks ago. So it's time I got into that. Started cutting down what needs cutting down. By the God, it's a big job. But anyway, I'll do it when I'm in one of my rampaging moods, when I have bursts of wild frenzied activity, and that's when it will happen. And I just got to go with the flow, you understand. So anyway, I thought, well, I'll read to you from Satan's Choice and complete our mission. We're not far from the end. It's about, I don't know, what chapter are we up to now? Chapter 26. Right. We're up to chapter 34 as the last chapter when we reach the end. So what's that? 8 more chapters, or 7 after this one. I'm counting down. I mean, it's been an interesting journey. It's been triggering. It's been reminiscent of some interesting things I did, looking out there, looking for love. It's like that song, what I did for love. Well, failed even in that mission. But it doesn't matter, does it? It's all part of the spiritual journey. And being a shaman, I was placed in positions, in spaces and places, and strange, just scratch my head at it myself, in strange little clubhouses. And did I succeed or did I fail? I'll never know. But I was sent there by my angels, literally by my angels. They were at me for a week. And I hesitated because I knew it was a kind of a unusual and out of left field and dangerous thing to do. But I was called there, called to be there. And I obeyed. So if nothing else, after hanging out there for 8 months, my angels know they could trust me to obey their directives and continue with a mission. And when it was time to go, it wasn't actually by my own choice, you understand. But I walked away head high, knowing that clearly it was time to move on, and knowing that I had been a kind and wise inspiration to some of the people there, a few. It's a bit like that, isn't it? When you're shaman, you never know what seeds you've planted and how they might germinate and grow to full fruition. You just don't always get the end of the story. But every now and then you do, and then you're like, oh, that's what that was about. So I just have to smile and accept with grace all the sweetness and goodness that came my way and went away, and just let it all flow like a river, touching stones, never touching the same stone twice. Just let it all meander away and winnowing, grinding down the grindstones of life and softening and finding our way. If that makes sense. Right. Chapter 26. World Run. We're apolitical. Hell's angels have always been that way. Once you get political, you're going to lose. Now listen here, Kermie. It's nice to have companionship. It's nice for birdies to be with other birdies. It's nice to be a real bird, but don't pick on the little boy in his own territory, I might add. It's just rude. He knows, he's looking at me like this, listening to me. He knows. You're on the Mama T's last nerve. Actually, no, he's not. He's a long way from getting on my last nerve, but he's skating. He's skating on my Mama T's last nerve. Right, let us begin, people of Earth. Being a Hell's Angel meant a chance for Campbell to get out of Canada occasionally and see the world, lucky bastard. Maybe I should join the Hell's Angels. No, I'm joking about that. They'd probably make me welcome though. I have a way of being made welcome in very unusual spaces. It's my charm and my giving out zero fucks, which did annoy the other outlaw motorcycle clubhouse in the end. But I was waiting for a real and a true love, as I do. And they kind of understood that. They did. They knew I wasn't there to fuck around and be an onion and just be completely trash. They knew. They knew. I'm a high caliber, powerful woman who needs a high caliber, powerful man whose heart blooms only for me. Oh, sweet, isn't it? Never happened, but, well, if you're not, if you don't go to places and say, I'm looking for a real man who knows how to treat a real woman, put it out there, not literally putting out, but putting out what you're wanting from life. If you don't ask for what you want in life, how are you going to ever receive it, people of Earth? But I know one thing for certain. The President was a good friend to me and he did love me. He was very honouring of me, that man. So to you, my darling, and to your gorgeous partner as well. You treated me with kindness, and Mama T never forgets people who treat her with genuine kindness. I don't care what part of society you come from, what echelon. I don't care how old you are or how young you are or what class or creed or race or nation you come from. You treat the Mama T with consistent kindness. She remembers. always. I'll speak up for you. If anyone ever comes to trash us out, I'll speak up for you, because I know true hearts and minds. And the rest can just slough themselves the fuck off, because get on my last nerve. Show me that you're an ugly, hateful, treacherous, evil person. Once Mama T knows that for certain, there's no redemption for you. You can rot in your own hellscape that you created, people of Earth. But, you know, there's been angels that came into my life. Maybe they were angels from hell. Maybe they were angels from heaven. We'll never know, will we? Till I cross into the next dimension, when I will be finally shown who was real and who wasn't, and you know. But when those earth angels cross your path and they do everything in their power to protect you and honour you and love you, those are your people, your tribe, your blessed holy ones. And appearances can be deceiving. You'll never expect it. It'll come out of left field. But you'll know. You'll know who's real and true and honouring. And that's how I kind of live my life, trying to be real and true and honouring. But I'm not stupid, and I'm not blind, and I'm not a martyr like, you know, the leader of a certain religion. And I don't turn the other cheek, and I don't suffer fools. And I might on occasion forgive an enemy if they have the decency to come to me and say, I'm genuinely sorry for my actions, which is rare, very rare to have someone with that much courage and couth. But there's not many I forgive, I'm afraid to admit. It'll stop me from evolving into the next dimension in at a higher dimensionality, because you're supposed to forgive your enemies. You're supposed to let it all go and wash it all away like that river that touches no stone twice. So it's a work in progress, people of Earth. It's a work in progress. And but you can probably tell, apart from the sores on my face and the bloody straps from the CPAP, that's without summer coming, and oh, it's ugly, people of Earth. But you can probably tell that I'm feeling a bit better today, and I'm happy today in my own weird way, you understand. Right, what's going on, my little boy chicks? My little chickie baby boys. My cheeky baby boys. Bo, are you being harassed out of your cage? Are you? Oh, you should see the look on his face. He's so sweet. He's like, Mama T, I don't feel safe in here with Kermie. He's not nice to me, Mama T. I know, my little beautiful boy. But look, your door's open, you're sitting on the threshold of an open door, and you've got wings, and you can fly. You can fly, little snooks. Do you know, I never let Charlie fly around this room. Never. She only came in her cage at night to sleep. She was always free-ranging all through the house, all through the garden, even going on walks with me around the neighbourhood and the forest. She had a good life, a much better life than you boys have, but if you get tamed down and you can sit on the perch that I made for Charlie, 2 perches. And then you could go on walks with Mama around the neighbourhood and through the forest. Imagine all the wild birds, you'd freak out just by your presence. They used to freak out when they saw Charlie with me too. But you know what? They never dared swoop us, because the rainbow lorikeets are very, very vicious, aggressive birds. They never took us on. Isn't that interesting? Even the big kookaburras knew not to fuck with the Charlie. And she had attitude to burn. Whew. Did she have attitude to burn? Right, little Snooky? I think he's gonna fly on top of the other cage. He's thinking about it. You're gonna fly. Are you gonna be a fly boy? Go on. Use your wings and fly. He says, I'm not gonna do it while you're watching, Mama. There we go. Good boy. Good boy, Bo. Yeah. Yeah. Freedom for the Bo. It's an awful day outside. Mama's not taking you out today. It's not a nice day. It's all ugly and grey. Murky. Murky. But look, people of Earth, I'm just going to sit us up. We had a beautiful day yesterday. Yesterday was just pure magic. So you got to take, you got to take the good with the bad, the swings and the roundabouts, don't you? Right, let me continue with the story. There were limits to where he could go, apparently. Club members were barred from entering the United States, Australia and New Zealand. The Five Eyes fascism was happening even then, people of Earth. Oh, it's revolting, isn't it? So revolting. It really is. Mama T has spoken. The Angels had charters in dozens of other countries, though, where he was still free to visit. In South Africa, it's way different. It's like the Wild West. I heard of a member who was met at the airport there by a guy with a gun on his back and an ammo belt. That's nice. I wouldn't be so keen on that personally, but it's because I don't like guns and ammunition. Alrighty-o, handsome boys. Kermie's liking, I put this long stick branch thingy in Bo's cage, and Kermie's sitting on it like the king of the roost. Happy birds. In May 2001, Campbell visited Amsterdam for the first time. His plan was to carry on to Paris, Nice, and then the Côte d'Azur on the French Riviera. Mama T would have loved to have gone there. Site of a new Angels charter and a world run that would draw some 1,500 international club members. First on his agenda was a stopover at the Amsterdam clubhouse. A Dutch member with a face full of stubble, who looked a bit like the ancient mariner, excitedly told him that they were about to be visited by a Canadian who had been involved in the Conspiracy of Brothers case. Campbell realised he meant the shooting of Bill Matiak and the trials of the Port Hope 8. The guy's going to be here, the Angel told Campbell. He's here for the France thing in Côte d'Azur. The case was recognised by outlaw bikers far beyond Canada's borders as an example of extreme brotherhood. Bikers around the globe loved to hear how the Satan's Choice members had refused to testify against each other, even with the looming threat of prison time, while the real shooter tried to take the rap. "It's me," Campbell said. "The guy's going to be here," the excited angel repeated. Again, Campbell said that he was the guy from the case. This repeated itself a couple more times, which tells me the Dutchman was speeding off his dial, because they get on these like loops. My ex Courtney used to do that. He'd repeat the same sentence about 10 times. After the 10th time, I'd be very seriously considering punching him out, which I would not have done because he was dangerous, you understand. But it would cross my mind. I'd just shake my head. "I can't talk to you right now, Courtney." And I'd walk off and I'd go in the garden and look at his lemon tree that I rescued because his nasty neighbour chopped it down. So I said to Courtney, "All your stinking, gronking, drugged out, drug-fucked, drunk, useless friends, get them to pee on that lemon tree." "Oh, we're not going to put our willies out and show our willies and pee on the tree." I said, "Do you want lemons or not? Do you want the tree to survive or not?" "Well, what do you mean?" I went, "You get all the men to urinate on that tree, not only will it survive, but it will thrive." So grudgingly took my advice, and 8 or 10 of his friends, every time they'd come, would go out in the back garden, shuffle over to the tree, point Percy at the lemon tree. "Lemon tree, very pretty, and your lemon flowers are sweet, but the fruit of the poor lemon is impossible to eat. Lemon tree, very pretty." Anyway, so they'd shuffle out, pee on it, come back, give me this weird look, and I'd nod. Because they were peeing all over the back garden anyway. Might as well focus on the thing that needs it the most, am I right? Men. So 6 months later, that tree grew exponentially, and it had a lemon that big, almost as big as a bloody grapefruit. Courtney comes out, looks at the tree and looks at me, says, "I hate to tell you, Tanya." "Oh yeah, what do you hate to tell me?" "You were right. Look at the lemons on this tree. They're enormous." I went, "Men's pee works every time." I'm claiming that first fruit. It's a very Jewish thing, by the way. The first fruit, the first bloom of the season. Very Jewish. It's how you can tell I really am Jewish. Comes out occasionally, strange ways. I'm claiming the first fruit from that tree. You know what? He didn't argue with me either. He said, "Okay, Tanya." I said, "If it weren't for me, you would have had no fruit and that tree would have died." "Yes, Tanya, I can see it myself. You were completely right. I'm claiming that lemon, Courtney. It's mine." "Yes," he said. I took that lemon home and I don't know what I did with it. But anyway, it was juicy and flavoursome and healthy, a beautiful lemon. Must be all the ganja that was in their pee, am I right? Anyway, didn't taste of ganja, don't worry about that. It was a beautiful, big, fat lemon. Anyway, how did I segue into that? I was going to say something about the courtmeister. I've forgotten. Anyway. Oh yes, about being stuck on a loop with speeding. They repeat the same thing over and over again. It's are you intellectually handicapped? Well, in that instance, they kind of are. They're trapped in this. Yeah, that's right. So I just used to walk away and check on the lemon tree, see if it was coming back to life, you understand, and cool myself down and come back and change the subject. Sometimes it'd be still stuck on some weird loop, so then I'd go home. No point dealing with fucking drug fucked, entities. It's like, if they're not home in their brain, they're not home. Some of them will never be home in their brains again because they fried it, but that's not my monkey and not my circus. It's their problem. It's their problem. It's a shame when that happens, though. Actually, Courtney was highly intelligent underneath all that drug fuckery. It's a shame. Waste of a good mind, but it is what it is. Anyway. But I still remember with great affection, not him, but his beautiful lemon tree that I rescued. I wonder if that lemon tree ever thinks about me. Who was that crazy woman that used to visit that dead shit that rented this house and made all the men pee on me and brought me back to life? It's a funny thing. I'm laughing, but I'm a bit serious. Trees have their own consciousness. Like animals, they actually usually know when you are flowing love and being protective of them too. Odd. It's odd, but it's how the multiverse works, people of Earth. What you doing, little boy? He says, I'm not flowing love to you, Mummy. I still don't like you. I still don't like you. But I love you. You're going to love me one day, little boy. Yes, you and me. You're going to love the mama. And Kermie is too. And we're going to go on walks. I'm determined. He's getting all agitated because Bo removed himself and is sitting on his cage. He's up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Oh, they're funny, the two of them. Right. This repeated itself a couple more times until the Dutch biker finally caught on to what Campbell was telling him. He just gave me a hug and we talked the rest of the afternoon. So he wasn't in a drug-fucked hell loop after all. He was just not accepting that the man in front of him was the man he was expecting to see. Probably looked nothing like he had envisaged his hero to be. As I said, appearances can be deceiving. Heroes come in all shapes and colours and forms. Don't they, little Kermie and Bo? Yes. Yes. Right. During his Paris stopover, Campbell was in a van with the wife of a German charter president. She looked at the swastika tattoo on his arm and said something to her husband in German. Campbell asked for a translation and was told, if you come to Germany with that tattoo or lightning bolts, which is the two Sovilos, which is why I very hesitated to give that rune to my friend Paulie, but one Cervelo on its own I decided was still acceptable because it's a Norse rune that represents sunshine and happiness and success and empowerment and joy and extra strength. I wanted him to have that, but I told him, I said, I'm hesitant because was co-opted by the Nazis, the double Sovelo rune. And I said, but we mustn't let those bastards ruin everything for us. And he said that he liked the meaning and, you know, the energy that I was gifting to him. And he gratefully accepted it for his part of his healing. I gave him 2 healing runes. The other one was Uros, which looks like a kind of a N, that shape. And that too was extra strength and empowerment and healing. So anyway, but yeah, in Germany they see that, Anna, because of the history, darlings. And I know that history more than anyone. So with that tattoo or lightning bolts, your ass goes to jail. He thought of how his father had fought overseas in World War II and how that sort of tattoo on Canadian bikers was meant just for shock value and not as a political statement. That's what bikers would do, part of their facade, freak out the citizenry. It was at that point that he decided to cover the tattoo on his right forearm with psychedelic artwork, which was wise. You know, I had massive fights. Oh, an entire war I had in a shamanism group on Facebook. Because the Mama T holds her ground no matter who, no matter what echelon of society, no matter what magical practice. I don't give a fuck. I've died at that time 12 times in my life. I'm unflappable. I'm fearless. If I'm going to die, I'm going to die. Do have to be careful with other, practicing shamans, particularly dark ones, because they can kill you. It's probably why there were a few near deaths after that. But by the gods, don't ever fuck with a Jewish shaman, witch, Viking, voodoo queen. When my blood's up, my blood's up. Anyway, and what they were saying was, correct actually. The swastika was co-opted by the Nazis, actually tilted slightly, and it originally was a symbol of peace. Peace, people of Earth. Can you believe it? They took a symbol of peace and they turned it into an energy of death and destruction and hate and bigotry and xenophobia and anti-Semitism and anti-humanist, anti-everything except if you happen to be German and Aryan of the master race. They took that symbol of peace and made it ugly. So I'm sitting in this shamanism group, and one of the shamans was a woman from Mexico who I had been very supportive of. She was always, her chip on her shoulder was she'd suffered a lot of racism for being an Indigenous brown person. And I understood, actually, because I've suffered a lot of othering as a white Jewish, Reformed Jewish woman here in Brisbane, of all places. It's ridiculous and evil. So I've been very supportive of her. And there were other shamans in the group, And I'm talking people who've been practicing shamanism all their life, whereas I've only just really, in the last 5 years accepted that I'm a shaman. I was struggling with it a little bit. I was still holding on to my Jewishness, my precious Jewishness that brought me no joy and only vilification and hate and bigotry and othering all my life here in Brisbane, not in New Zealand, however, where I first converted. There I was included and loved, but it turned rancid when I came here. Really fucking rancid. Anyway, so I'm in the shamanism group, and they start banging on about the swastika and how they want to bring it back as a symbol, you know. It should be everywhere, it should be seen everywhere, it should be restored to its former place that is a symbol of peace. And look, I kind of get what they're saying, because it's not fair that it was co-opted and tainted and destroyed and turned into something really evil and ugly. It's actually not fair. You know, there's swastikas on ancient Hindu temples, and there's swastikas on ancient Celtic places too. It was around for thousands of years, even before Christ. So I get it. I get what they're saying. But then a couple of them started up again about Jews and, you know, Hebrews and being fucking vicious. So off I went to war on all those. Some of them were quite famous shamans too. Very highly prestigious shamans all over the world. I don't care where you come from. Everyone puts their pants on one leg at a time. And you pissed off Vatanya. So off I went. I eviscerated them. I said, you cannot ever bring that back as a symbol. It has been tainted, and it will be tainted for 1,000 years, maybe 10,000, because I, for one, while I draw breath, will not allow it. Oh, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? I said, I'm a Jew. Well, we didn't know you were a Jew. I went, no, well, you should find these things out before you insult other people's creed and cultures and history and, you know, life force. Before you try to eviscerate people you know nothing about, because you're pig dog ignorant. Off I went. And I was fighting with them for about an hour. I was in a rage. I don't know how I didn't spontaneously combust in my little house here. So infuriated. And they tried to argue with me about the swastika being holy and righteous and pure and good. But then I remembered, because I'm a student of the occult, and I've been reading these texts and studying these things since I was in my early teens. I was raised with it by my mad mother and mad father. It's in my blood. It's who I am. I am that I am. I said the swastika was never pure. Oh, what do you mean? I said, well, if you read the Upanishads, you fucking dickwad morons, you would know that there were wars with Vimanas. Vimanas were how they kind of described chariots of fire, or what we would call in modern parlance UAPs, formerly known as UFOs. I said they had entire wars, and there was such an intense kind of nuclear or fusion type war that everything got turned to glass. There's still evidence of the vitrified glass to this day. The swastika? Peaceful, I said. You're in denial, or you don't know your history. It's no accident that the Nazis were obsessed with UAP technology and rockets, trying to bring back that symbol, and ethnically cleanse everyone but them. Wouldn't have been many people left by the time they'd finished. Ironically, we have the COVID epoch and it's the same deal. Nothing changes. If nothing changes. Anyway, that Mexican Chiquitita was so vicious to me, and I said to her, and by the way, I said, you as a brown person with your chip on your shoulder about racism and othering, bigotry and not being treated fairly because you happen to be brown-skinned, I said, I've seen your true heart and soul, how you've spoken about the Jews. I said, you're just as evil and rotten and bigoted and anti-Semitic and vicious as all the people that have attacked you throughout your lifetime. You call yourself a shaman and you want to heal people with all that hatred and ugliness and racism and viciousness inside your soul. I wouldn't let you heal me if you fucking paid me to heal me. Fuck off, I said. Well, anyway, I was right, because I'm very often right, people of Earth. Sometimes even when I'm a bit wrong, I'm proven right down the track, you understand? When the idiots catch up with me on what I'm putting down. Whew. Anyway, she kept trying to message me. I think she was trying to apologise or she wanted to carry on the war, I'm not sure. I said, don't bother. I've seen your true soul. You are beyond redemption. I am not a Christian and I do not forgive. She freaked the fuck out, you know, because she might have been Mexican, but, you know, they come from that Catholic background of forgive and turn the other cheek and all that, you know. Self-immolating, unhealthiness. It's an unhealthy religion. It's my opinion and I'm sticking to it. Wasn't fucking healthy for me as a young child. They protected and enabled all the family predators under the guise of that religion. That's why I hate it so much. But don't worry, I hate all religions that fail to protect innocent, vulnerable children. Including my own. My Jewish religion is tainted by that too. Very tainted. So when I say that I think you're a good person and you've been kind and honouring to me, that stays, that high opinion of someone. I don't generally change that attitude, but you have to have proven it to me over time, shown true hearts and minds and souls. So anyway, this little mix, I can't even remember her name now. Highly intelligent woman too. I was upset. I did grieve over her actually, the end of that friendship, because I was looking up to her as a luminous one, perhaps someone who could teach me more about shamanism and guide me. And then I realised, just as tainted and clay-footed and fucking ugly and hateful as any other human that I've encountered on the planet that exemplifies only their darkness. So, and I was fully conscious that, you know, they might put curses on me and mess with me. Maybe they did. Maybe that's why my love life's still shit to this day. Who knows? Or maybe it's just my life path. So I'll just have to handle that, won't I? But I made a wonderful friend out of that shamanism group. And he stood by me and he defended me. Because he happened to be, they didn't realise, because he's a shaman in the Native American tradition. And they didn't realise that he was also actually a Jew in his case by birth. So when they tried fucking with me, they came up against him, a far more powerful shaman than I will ever be, because he's been practicing it all his life. And he used to be, when he was younger, before he retired, a psychotherapist too. So he's the real deal, people of Earth. And you see how you stumble across Earth angels? Anyway, he befriended me. And when COVID came, this must have been just prior COVID, by the way, he invited me to his Zoom conferences, and we all sat together, him and his friends, giving each other extra strength and courage to get through the epic brainwashing and psychological operational warfare that went on 2020 to 2022, but in real terms it hasn't really stopped, has it? It's a war that's still kind of simmering undercurrent that I've been fighting this whole time. But that wonderful shaman, that wonderful man, I will name him Michel Citrine. Pour vous, mi amor. When I say my love, I don't mean that there was anything sexual and inappropriate between us, but he was a wonderful love, a wonderful friend, and still is, one would hope. A cargo ship just exploded. Oh, that's nice, dear. Awful. Anyway, that man found me in the shamanism group, and I left that shamanism group because I will not give my energy to spaces and places, even on the internet, that are rancid and evil and toxic. It's a waste of my time, effort, energy. And he more or less begged me to come back. He said, "You're needed there, Tanya." I said, "No, I'm sorry. It's beneath my dignity, and I'm not exposing myself to those kinds of evil people. And I want nothing to do with any of that. I'm my own woman, and I drive my own bus, Gus." And he understood. He understood. But anyway, a wonderful man. And it's amazing how I have found friends, and often high conflict, peak emotional, high conflict, dangerous situations. Because there was another shaman, he was from England. Well, he was savage against Jews too. Oh, the hate pouring off him. And I'd been supportive of him too, going to his website and, participating and wanting to learn from him. And it was the Mexican woman that had said to me, you need to find a luminous teacher. And I was looking for a luminous one, worthy of my mind and my spirit to teach me, and never found a teacher. I had a lot of support from Michel, but he didn't teach me per se. But I never found a shamanic teacher. And then one day, a few years ago, I realised I have a luminous teacher and a guide and a protector, a very powerful one that sometimes pops in on my channel when I'm reading to you, and I don't know who that entity actually is, but that's my luminous one. No human being has ever proven worthy of being my teacher or guide. They've all failed me miserably, or turned rancid and evil, or stepped back because they knew I'm under the jurisprudence jurisprudence of something very, very powerful and very, very terrifying. And I don't second guess that, and I don't doubt it. I don't fear it anymore either, although fear is not the word. Awe, because it will come out from time to time. That energy will come and step beside me when I'm in very real danger, or when people are being particularly foul and rotten. They'll just send me telepathic thoughts, give me advice on how to navigate through it to get myself to equilibrium and or safety. And it's happened so many times now that I don't question it. I just go along with what I'm being directed to, and it doesn't make sense to other ordinary NPC, empty, soulless humanoids, because they simply don't have the power or the walk or the angels or the gods. They haven't developed a relationship of trust and faith and honour and integrity, people of Earth. What you doing, handsome boys? Anyway, Mama T is surviving her own subpar health issues, and getting back into her own saddle and riding on. Right, Campbell and fellow Simcoe County Charter members Ian Watson and Tony Biancafiore tried to take a cab from Nice to the Côte d'Azur. I wonder how far that would be away. The driver spoke no English, and they spoke no French. All they could do was say, "We're looking for the clubhouse," repeatedly, and hoping it would somehow sink in. The confused cabbie mistakenly drove them to a country club before finally making it to the world-run site. All right, my boys. The Côte d'Azur charter was less than a year old, but by the time Campbell arrived, the clubhouse already had a 1.5 metre hole in the ground inside its outer wall from a bomb lobbed over it by an enemy. The crater notwithstanding, the walled compound was a pleasant spot, just a 5-minute walk from the ocean. One day at the seashore, Campbell got chatting with 3 English Hells Angels, one of whom was the president of his charter. The Englishman produced a packet of white powder, which Campbell assumed was cocaine. "Want to do a line?" one of them asked. The package had an odd glow in the Mediterranean sun. "Want to do some, Lorne?" "All right," Campbell replied, then snorted about 4 centimetres of the powder. "Hey mate, where's that package?" another of the Englishmen asked. "What do you mean? I did it all." "Hey mate, that was for all of us." Campbell's nose felt as if someone had crawled up inside it with a blowtorch. The Englishmen were laughing. They had plenty more of the potent powder for themselves. "What was it?" "Crystal meth, mate." "Holy fuck, no wonder it shines." Like, he saw it shining and then he still snorted it anyway, like, honestly. Dumb and Dumberer. You'd think you'd double check as to what it actually was. Campbell noted that the European angels weren't as immersed in criminality as their Canadian counterparts. Those English guys work for a living. They're tough individuals, very tough guys, but they're not criminals. Most countries are not Hell's Angels like we are. You fuck with them, they'll kill you, I think. Guys from Germany would say, instead of drugs, why don't you start businesses? They have hotels. Smart, isn't it? You know, illegal establishments. In the Netherlands, they have businesses too. They don't understand it in Canada. If you start a hotel or a car business, there, police and government are right on you. It's not easy. It's a shame, isn't it? They could have made good businesses and had good lives if it weren't for the Canadian fucking fascists. I'm watching you, you little fascist Kermie. He's not really a fascist, he's just, you know, wants to assert his dominance over another breed. I'm watching you, my little darlings. Death with beaks. Well, my darlings. I'll just move us. How can I? I'll move it so I can watch them and watch you, have you watch me and the birdies at the same time. Multitasking. Walk and talk, walk and talk. It's an art form. Where did that little snooks go? Where is he? I've lost him. Ah, there he is. What you doing, Kermie? Is it the war of the Indian ringnecks? You come to Mama? Step up, step up, step up, step up. Yeah, I thought so. Trying to train them to come to me, it's not happening. But I knew he'd fly across to the other cage, and I gave little Bo a little bit of space there. So thank you, Mama T, for getting you a bit of space. Honestly. Right, where were we? Mama T's drifting off with the birdies. It's not easy. They have their own wine, their own spirits. Route 81. They have their own cigarettes. It's actually legal. They own whole fucking blocks there. In the Netherlands, they own coffee shops and bars that sell pot. Can you imagine? Haven't had any for a long time. But I'm travelling all right. I don't need any added mind-altering substances. I haven't had an alcoholic drink since the last time I was at Fitzy's when I got sick. So, the Mama T's pristine, very pristine. I've got Jack Daniels here in the house. Papa Legba gets it. I haven't even drunk it. Right. Kermie's back in his cage. Okay. They own whorehouses that are legal. In Canada, we can't do that. Campbell was in the Côte d'Azur shortly after 9/11, and he didn't get any grief from police who were bent on stopping terrorists. The cops don't give you a second look. It was in France that he was introduced by Angel Rick Cianello of BC to outlaw biker icon Sonny Barger. Even I've heard of Sonny Barger. He started the Sturgis festival in South Dakota. The man alternately credited with or blamed for organising the modern-day Hells Angels worldwide expansion. Barger was a legend in the Angels world. In one of many stories about him, he once put a man's hands in a vice and horsewhipped him for stealing his Harley, which he had named Sweet Cocaine. He was also something of a marketing phenomenon with a full range of signature products including American Legend sunglasses, beanies, and Cabernet Sauvignon. Had a bit of style to him in that case. Campbell's meeting with Barger was brief as other bikers were crowding around and one drunken member kept cutting in. Barger signed a couple of copies of his autobiography for Campbell, one for himself and one for an angel friend who was about to get married. He was alert and personable, although it was an effort for him to speak after a bout with cancer, since he had to press a valve in his throat whenever he wanted to say something. He's quite the gentleman. The man's earned his respect big time. Partly for the organiser he is. He doesn't take any shit. If you fuck with me, I'll fuck back. A year after the patch over, a tattoo artist came down from Barrie to the Simcoe County Clubhouse near Georgian Bay to ink the copyrighted Angel's death head onto Campbell and his clubmates. There's a Canadian rule that Angels can only get club tattoos. Where's the little one? It's over there. Okay, they're preening. Can only get club tattoos a year after membership, once they've proven themselves a worthy. For Campbell, this would be the first of 5 Angels tattoos. The 1-year anniversary of the patch over was marked by a provincial Angels convention in Toronto's entertainment district. Bikers were warned by senior club officers to be on their best behaviour. When they went to restaurants wearing their colours, they were told to be pleasant and to tip large. People would be talking and the club wanted the public saying good things. Campbell was in charge of security for the Simcoe County Charter and wasn't surprised when police told Hells Angels spokesman Donnie Peterson just before the convention began that there had been a bomb threat in the hotel and that they'd have to immediately leave the building. Well, that would solve your problems for you, wouldn't it? Peterson said, suspecting it was just a ploy so that police could plant recording devices in their rooms and throughout the hotel. No go. Nice try, boys. No bombs exploded that week at the hotel. There was a media bombshell, however, when Toronto Mayor Mel Lastman popped in for a surprise visit, shaking the hand of Simcoe County member Tony Biancafiore. Bianca Fiore was finance manager for a General Motors dealership and suspected that Lastman recognised his face from community events. He doubted that Lastman knew before that day that he was also an outlaw biker. He walked in and he came towards me, remembers Bianca Fiore. I ran towards him. I think we both stuck our hands out at the same time. I was sort of stunned that he was even there. He had that look on his face, almost stunned or in fear. I don't know what he expected. The mayor accepted a souvenir t-shirt from Bianca Fiore. The next day, a photo of the handshake was in newspapers across the country with headlines such as "Mayor has devil to pay for shaking hands with Angel," "Mel, it's time to go," and "Handshake from hell." In an effort to quell the shitstorm of bad publicity, Lastman posed for a photo, tossing his souvenir Angels support t-shirt into the garbage. Fucking hypocrites, aren't they? This is why I despise politicians. I thought about returning to my fold, my Reformed Jewish fold, and I thought about going to the temple down in the Gold Coast. What are they called? Temple Shalom, I think. I thought about, going and praying to the Holy One and all manifestations of holiness as a Jew again. It's been a long time since I prayed with a Jewish congregation as a Jew. A long, long time. Sometimes I miss it. You have to have a quorum of 10 people for your prayers to be of the most influence or have the most potency with the Holy One. It's an ancient tradition. In Orthodoxy it has to be 10 men, but in Reform they allow women as equals. So it's 10 men and women make up the 10. So I thought about returning and going down there on occasion, maybe not as a member because it costs a lot of money to belong to a Jewish synagogue or temple, believe it or not. You have to pay for the privilege. I guess it's, other churches ask for donations and that's how they maintain the buildings and pay for, their pastoral care. But in Judaism, you have to pay membership, and I couldn't have afforded it. I had a very loose association membership when I was with BPJC. I think I paid $50 a year or something like that. It was very, very discounted. But I let that go when I stopped praying there because they insisted on having my mother on the Yizkor list, and I insisted that she wasn't Jewish and had been fucking haunting me for years. So the last thing I want to do is go and pray to my God on Yom Kippur, have my mother's name pop up. As fate would have it, when the list came round, it was my mother's name I was supposed to call out. Can you believe how my blood ran cold? A woman I fought for her right to be present in the temple with me and her grandchildren, by the way. I fought for that human right for 2.5 fucking years. But after all the viciousness pursuant to that, since 1991, since that fight got finalised, I didn't want to go and pray in a space where her name was going to be called out to honour that energy, that entity. So we fought about it and I left. And I haven't been back. Because I'm right how I feel. My feelings should have been honoured and respected. simples, darlings. So I turned more to my shamanic, witchy ways and honoured God in those ways instead, which is odd to the uninitiated, but it works for me. But I thought about returning to the Gold Coast Temple and maybe for, significant holy days. And but then this was during the COVID epoch, 2023, I think, 2022, 2023. The rabbi down there, he's a wonderful rabbi. I haven't met him in person, but he seems like a wonderful man, and his wife, They were posting services on Facebook, live recordings of the services they were conducting down there. So it was like being in shul and temple without actually being there, because it was through virtual reality, through the internet. And I was very supportive of that, and I really enjoyed it. It meant a lot to me because I can't participate. Even without the COVID, I can't participate because I'm not part of the congregation and don't really belong anywhere anymore. So, to you, Rabbi Cohen, and I think his name was Rabbi Cohen, Avi, Rabbi Cohen, I thoroughly enjoyed that. It helped keep me a bit sane during the worst of the COVID years too. It was a mishaberach, a blessing, and I acknowledge that. However, they fell foul of the Tanya because, was it last year or the year before? Anyway, they were practically filleting all the politicians down in the Gold Coast and inviting them and shaking their hands and fawning over them, and I had to vomit in my mouth a little bit. Because it's the politicians that have murdered, genocided my Homo sapiens across the globe. All religions, all cultures, all creeds participated in that. Listen to these fuck-knuckle, anti-humanist, depopulating politicians. So then I realised I can't go and pray in that space. I can't support a space that fawns and fusses and practically fillets, not literally, you understand, although you never know, it's kinky people everywhere. Evil is as evil does, but I don't want to participate in that. Not in my God's name will I support people that willingly and willfully poisoned my Homo sapiens and are still poisoning them if they get half a chance, by the gods. I can't pray in that space. So there was a kind of a grief that went with that too. I thought, I'm excluded because I'm courageous and I'm human and I fight for our pristine humanness, and they've all been possessed by something utterly demonic, or they've been Mother Hydra babied by the bioengineering feasting on their brains. How can I sit and pray amongst that, knowing how rotten it's all become? Where is God in all of that, people of earth? Not just in the Jewish temples and synagogues, but churches. And look, here's how it went down. 2021, or was it early, or was it in 2020? I can't remember exactly the year now, but it's when COVID was being unleashed on our species. And I fought in every social media platform, everyone, including this one I'm posting my video to, and I was well hated. And I said, you're on the wrong side of history. You're participating and a genocide, and they were in denial about it still back then. Couldn't see it. Couldn't see the forest for the trees. Highly educated people, successful people, running social media, couldn't see it. It was as obvious as if I'd smashed you in the face with a piece of 4x2. They couldn't see it, didn't want to see it. My tribe, Israel, I converted to that religion, but my people, Israel, the nation of Israel, was the first to fully vaccinate all its inhabitants and citizens and those living within her borders. The first. Wow, that blew my head off. You might as well have blown my actual head off. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The descendants of the last Shoah, who fought every day to have the land of Israel, live as Israeli citizens, and have been raised in that country and that culture, survived and battled many wars, poisoned their own people. What the actual fuck? What the actual fuckery was that? And I could see it playing out. So they posted a photo. This was on Facebook, because, you know, I live on Facebook, people of Earth, most of the time. Now I live on YouTube a lot, making my videos, but I still participate a lot in Facebook. Well, anyway, they posted this photograph, and they said the International Council of Religious Leaders, I can't remember the name of it exactly now, but it was a photo, international, in Jerusalem taken. Imams, Orthodox priests from Greece and from, you know, the Eastern countries where they have Greek Orthodoxy. You could tell by their hats, you know. Catholic priests from the Vatican, Protestant and Lutheran pastors and ministers, Hindu representatives. They had everyone from all religions, Shinto, they were all there. Make sure you vaccinate yourselves and vaccinate your children. What was the trope at the time? Trust the science, and all the other propaganda. Can you believe how my blood ran cold that day? I left my body. They're doing this in the name of God. And they've fallen for it, and they're believing in it, and they're promoting it across every faith, creed, religion, you name it. So like my blood boiled over when the shamanic group were promoting swastikas, the dirty motherfuckers. And I stand by that opinion to this day. I see this. Well, in the comment section, I wrote, of course my comment would have been removed by the fascists and the genociders of social media of that time, whoever was running Facebook. But I assiduously read comment sections that I participated in, you know, of shows that I've watched, or in that case the photograph that they presented of all these self-immolating, suicidal genociders. That's what it boils down to, suicidal. A woman who survived her own suicide knows what she's talking about, by the way. So I look at this and I write, I beg you in the name of your God, of your understanding, whatever name you want to give to that energy, don't do it. Don't do it. Guard your souls. Protect your body, mind and spirit. Hold true like glue. And for the love of all the gods, of all that is, was and ever shall be, do not give that bioengineered weapon to your babies and your children. I beg you. I beg you. I wrote this to every leader of every religion in that photo. Well, I think it got taken down. But I tried, people of Earth. I tried. And I still grieve over the fact that I was not listened to and that I could not, therefore, save you from your own silly, brainwashed, psy-operational programmed selves. I still grieve. It's cost me too, personally. There'll be no grandchildren. I grieve and occasionally I boil over, you understand. Well, I'm only human because I tried to save all of us, but I was shadow banned and silenced. But I read through at that point in time the comment section, and do you know, out of hundreds of people that commented at that time and that moment when I was reading through it, there were only 2 that spoke against it. Me and some other person that happened to be Israeli. So there were Israelis speaking out against it, but they were shadow banned and they were silenced, and they were in effect murdered if they took that poisoning into their system. So now I must live in a world where everyone's health has been compromised. We don't know from one day to the next whether we're going to fucking stroke out or what's going to happen, because I'm impacted too, because I caught the COVID, because I insisted in dancing, you know, in my favourite club, knowing that people around me probably had the COVID and that I would be exposed to it. I did that quite consciously. Because I will not be shoved aside. I will not be removed from my right to dance in public spaces with often false and treacherous faces around me. I will not be sidelined by a sniffle. When I caught the COVID in October 2023, wasn't that bad, but I too have the worm growing inside my brain, in my body somewhere, because it was programmed into it was embedded into the virus. But the double kill switch was carried with the vaccine, one to activate the other. Make sure that everyone on earth was affected, tainted, everyone, even we unvaccinated ones. If we caught the COVID, we've been impaired too. And I can see the impairment in me. I can see it, dwelling over all the horror and ugliness and darkness of my childhood and adolescence, and trapped in a loop, descending down into some vortex of hell loop. But every now and then, people of Earth, the Mamati shoots back up like a geyser, and reclaims her power and her light and her truth and her love of life and zest for life, and reminds you, my audience, you must do this too. We must never, ever, ever let the evil, dirty, soulless NPC bastards grind us down. We must shape up and show up, and in my case, dance up and conspire to inspire and live our best lives no matter what, no matter who. And you know, my enemies, the lackluster and the weak, are going to keep gunning for me because they lack the couth and the courage and the understanding that in this post-COVIDian epoch, we are all equal and we are all laid low. It's up to us to shuck off that albatross and take back control of our own body, mind and spirit, and indeed soul, and stay as pristine as we possibly can and slough off that toxic wasteland, natto kinase, intermittent fasting, ivermectin, although I haven't been able to get hold of any. Whatever it takes, people of Earth. And keep love alive in your heart and soul. It's been hard for me because I've been laid low and embittered by that jaded, faded rock star being vicious for no good reason. Fuck you, Scotty. Fuck you. But I won't let that bitterness destroy me because that's what you hoped. I will hold true like glue to the love I invested in you. It'll bubble up one day for a wonderful man who genuinely loves me, and it'll shine bright like a diamond, and it'll even take your breath away, because I know he watches my videos still, because Mother Hydra babies, and he's just a little bit obsessed. To you, my darling, you fucking sad sack. Hope you and Pterodactyl Face are living happily ever after. She doesn't look like, she's not what you thought she was, and I had her at hello. I did, because I'm a shaman and I know these things. But I don't split and I don't poison people against each other. I don't. I let them find out the hard way. Sometimes it's the only way to find out. No one protected me. No one respected me enough. No one loved me enough to warn me that you were going to turn rancid the way you did. But I'm okay with that. I found out the good old-fashioned, hard way. And as I said in my previous videos, I've risen above it. A woman who couldn't trust a Jewish congregation to treat her right either. Couldn't trust Israel to do right by their own citizenry and actually protect them from yet another fucking genocide from within their own borders. Self-immolating. Self-immolating. I won't even mention what's going on in Gaza, not because I'm unaware or I'm endorsing it in any way, but the Middle East has been destroying itself from the inside out for centuries. It's never going to change. It's never going to get better. It's never going to heal while you fucking self-fucking immolate. Little Bo's gone back in his cage. And don't worry, the Mamate's well aware that I self-immolate too, choosing to fall in love with men who are false and feckless and fucking weak. It's embarrassing. But you know, when you zoom out and you look at the big picture, what was I raised by? Predators, pedophiles, enablers, violent, abusive people who were false and feckless and fucking weak. I said it yesterday in a video, or the day before, about my mother referring to David Davidson as weak, darling. He needed a woman like you. She didn't realise that she was telling me exactly what she'd been up to by that statement. Weak people lack insight into their own actions because they're piss weak and ignoble and callow and sadistic and fucking evil. And once I identify that, the love dies and withers like the most beautiful ripe fruit, withers and dies and dries and blows off the vine like the empty vapoured husk it always was and always will be. And it hurts. It hurts to think that I poured so much energy into that dance space and made a king out of a man who's incapable of loving a woman. Any woman, won't just be me, babies. So, watching the train wreck continue. Well, I won't be watching it because I won't support that man's gigs anymore, ever. But it'll come to me, the unravelling. It'll come to me, always does. I always find out in the end what that was all about. But you can't stop me from living my best life and my dance, because I came in clean and clear with powerful and good intentions, wanting to support the bands and have us all thrive in our broken, damaged, tainted and toxified bodies. So, live your best life. Go forth in your own power with harm to none and competition with none, without your vapid little bullying and perverted, twisted little cosplays. You dumb motherfucker. You really were quite dumb. I'm so disappointed in you. That is what it is. We're up against an entire planet dumbed itself down, completely dumbed itself right down. And I was dumb too, thinking that I could somehow save us and there could be another timeline for us all and life could still yet be beautiful. I've been dumb too, I admit it. 30 years of therapy has only gifted me the ability to see my own sweetness and naivete and stupidity at times, wanting more from life, people of Earth. In an actual fucking zombie apocalypse, I went out riding high with my top hat and my corset and my boots, wanting more from all of us, all of you and myself, to co-create a wondrous, safe, loving planet. But how did you react? You attacked me, sent a woman to shove her fingers into me through my dress. For that alone you should die! But it is what it is. The worm, W-U-R-M, the ancient Teutonic rotten worm, has turned you rotten. And there's not a damn thing I or even you can do about it, but ride it out to its penultimate end. Let me continue with this chapter. It's a very long chapter, so no, I might break this into 2 parts. I need a mental health break from my own fury and abject horror. It's a horror story, but it's all become all too real now. I used to watch horror movies like this for stress relief, because nothing was as horrific and awful as my own upbringing, you understand. And now, 2025, it's intensifying, and it's no longer a horror movie right there on my TV. It's real. It's in 3D reality. And still, the cowards shrink and faint and toss from it instead of owning up and being accountable like real men and real women. The worst cowardice I ever saw in my whole life is what I'm seeing now. My blood coagulates in my veins just thinking about it. In an effort to quell the shitstorm of bad publicity, Lastman posed for a photo tossing his souvenir Angels support t-shirt into the garbage. This brought a Hell's Angels want Lastman to apologise for rudeness headline in the National Post. Well, that was very diplomatic and delicate, wasn't it? We all know what a coward looks like. Last man standing. Politicians, the worst vermin that crawls upon the face of this earth, except for 2 here in Brisbane that spoke out against the COVIDian madness. Can't remember their names now. They got driven out. One was driven out of the Liberal Party, and the other one is a bit of a fascist, quite frankly. I was shocked that they actually spoke out against it. It was like... So this went across all political divides. This war that shall not end ever, because we've all been tainted, people of Earth. There'll be no end to this war until the governments of the world start taking ownership of what they did to their populations, instead of hiding in their bunkers with their Epstein Islands, predating on innocent children. So we know you're all complicit in that too, by the way. We know. Mama T knows. Sacrificing our babies to Moloch. Polarity Josh keeps going on about the Baal worshippers. He's got the wrong God. It's Moloch you were sacrificed to, Joshy baby. Moloch. If you have children, I don't think he has, he's still young, I don't think he's even married. But if you'd had children, that was who you threw on a jellied fire to. Know your enemy and name your gods appropriately and leave the Jews out of it. We aren't all like that. Most are good, decent, hard-working, upstanding people who didn't have the wisdom to see through the COVIDian programming and sacrificed their own babies too. It's not their fault. It's not their fault. They were just lied to and deceived by the Molochians and our governments. I can name them. Anastasia Palaszczuk, Stephen Miles. What was that idiot? CHO? Gerald somebody. I forgive the woman, CHO. I could see her shivering and shaking at every publicity. She knew it was wrong. The fear in her was tangible. I thought, that's why they replaced her. I thought underneath all that, she knows what's being done. Deep down, a good woman. But the rest can rot in hell. They were complicit. They advocated it. They threatened and they coerced. They were the worst evil. They were the modern day Hamans and Hitlers. That's who you are. Mama T has spoken. This brought a, oh yes, I read that, wanting an apology. Lastman claimed he didn't know that members of the Hells Angels made money selling illegal drugs and said he only shook Bianca Fiore's hand because he was afraid. Are they retarded or what? These people that get into these positions of power. Are they actually intellectually, I don't like the word retarded. Are they actually intellectually handicapped in some profound way? It's not a rhetorical question. What am I going to do, he asked. Not give them my hand? I'd be afraid not to. Toronto Police Chief Julian Fantino said the handshaking and media kerfuffle was evidence of the Angels' deft skill in public relations. Many others said it made Lastman look like the consummate buffoon. In Quebec, the handshake from hell was considered further evidence of Anglo stupidity and insensitivity, as well as the deviousness of outlaw bikers. The timing of the handshake couldn't have been much worse, as the story broke just as a series of biker trials was beginning. Pre-trial arguments were to be heard in Montreal in the first-degree murder trial of Maurice Mom Boucher for ordering the deaths of 2 prison guards in 1997. Where's our Kermie boy? Where is he? I don't know. Oh, you're there. You're right there. You blended in against the books. Right. Pre-trial proceedings were also underway in Montreal for 13 other Hells Angels and associates, including Stadnik. They faced charges including first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and gangsterism relating to the war with the now-defunct Rock Machine, who morphed into membership in the Bandidos, a major international club. The mother of Daniel Desrochers, the 11-year-old Montreal boy who was killed by a pipe bomb during the Biker War, called Lastman dangerously naive. I'm very saddened by the Mayor of Toronto, Joanne Desrochers said. Pardon me. It's like burying your head in the sand. This is a dangerous thing, very dangerous. While the handshake photo was a unique humiliation for Lastman, it hurt Bianca Fiore even more. After he was publicly outed as a Hells Angel, he lost his license to sell automobiles. It certainly didn't work in my favour. Much of the horrendous press around the Canadian Angels centred on Boucher, president of the Montreal Nomads Charter. Boucher had declared his own personal war on the state without first consulting the rest of the club. He conspired to kill politicians, a broadcaster, a judge, and respected crime writer, Michel Auger of the Journal de Montréal, among others. For Campbell, it was clear that Boucher had forgotten his place in the world. Biker wars are biker wars. I've been in them, participated, never backed down from the violence. But to have delusions of grandeur that you want to take on the government? We're just Hells Angels and a motorcycle club. We're apolitical. Hells Angels have always been that way. Once you get political, you're going to lose. What happened to Michel Auger is horrendous. A horrendous, cowardly thing to do. Indeed. Right, there's a break in the story, which means he's shifting themes. And we're 2 hours in, and I've had my little YouTube, Facebook slide down memory ride. I've had my rantantans. I've had expressed my rage and my frustration at the way I've been abused yet again for no good reason, including having my birthday sabotaged. I wonder how far up the line that directive came from. Probably from that Palaszczuk bitch murdered my people. All of my people. Homo sapiens sapiens. I wonder. Maybe she's innocent, though. One has to be circumspect, cool one's heels, watch and wait for the truth to come out. The truth always comes out, people of Earth. The Mamati sometimes has to wait 20 years, though, and at 60, I don't have 20 years to wait. So if you've got a bit of decency, come and see me and tell me the truth. I'm eager to hear it. I am eager to hear it. Who put that Mother Hydra babied Michelle up to? Fickle finger of fate me back on the evening of the 24th of January, and who thought it was a good idea to worm tongue my much beloved friend Scotty? That was probably his own idea. Let's be real here. Let's not make excuses for bad behaviour. But who's running that? Who was running that cesspit from hell? It's come from on high. Some directive. I'm not paranoid. I've seen it too many times to know that I'm not actually paranoid. And everything's documented via my psychiatrist, by the way. He's got a very thick file, so thick they have to put it in the bottom cabinet because it falls down and smacks his secretary on the head. So, and I have documented everything every day in every way, sometimes in more subtle ways than I've presented in this video to you today on YouTube, but it's documented. I'm well aware what people are capable of, what people will do to vilify and destroy innocent people in the name of their gods or in the name of their COVIDian vaccines. It's big business and big pharma, not just in China but in America too. The fish rots from the head right down to the tail. Swim, little fishies, because we all know who you really are. All of us, those of us who are awake and aware, we all know exactly what and who you really are, you Moloch eaters. So on that note, I bid you good afternoon from sacred space at Titania's realm. You better get good with your gods and the Fae and the ancestors that truly love you, because it's coming, the retribution. I can sense it today. What is the date today? The 19th of August. I can sense it coming. Might take 5 years, might take 10, but justice shall be pursued. Tzedek, justice. And the meek truly will inherit the earth. Just saying. The meek, but not the weak. Bye for now, planet Earth.